This is the time of year that signals a fresh start for students across the country.
And I say, good morning, how is everybody?
This week, we're going back to school.
I want them to come back with a work ethic.
Both physically and mental. You know it's the right thing to do, but it's hard.
What can be done to solve teacher shortages?
The emotions will be really tough.
And the new efforts to keep students safe. This is The Race. When it comes to education, recently there's been a lot of noise. School board meetings have gotten out of hand, arguments over masking, and there are concerns about how do we keep our students safe. But we're here in St. Louis, we're about to go into this school where they're setting up their classrooms, they're having us in today, and the teachers are going to talk to us about the role that they play when it comes to making sure not only that their students learn, but they're in a good place mentally. Walk with me into this small closet.
I got so many keys.
Inside the St. Louis Public Middle School, where Tracy Moore is a social worker.
I'm kind of like a Instacart worker, right? So they'll tell me, oh, I want those red beans and rice, or I want the big can of tomato soup. Some of our kids, unfortunately, they only eat when they're at school.
Food insecurity, she tells me, is just one reason she's worried.
Our students' mental health has totally decreased. There is a higher need. While the pandemic did shine a light on the need for mental health services for all of us, it really did something to our kids.
I like a pretty room, like how I said, so I like everything to be all set up.
For as much as art teacher Amanda Miller loves to talk about the greats,
No, I love Vincent Van Gogh. I could go on a whole tangent about him.
she tells me her job often has nothing to do with art.
You cannot expect a child to come in who's hungry, who is living below the poverty line, and think that they're going to be okay.
She, like many teachers, has taken on the role of looking for signs of students struggling with their mental health. At this school, Tracy teaches them what to look for.
To me, and maybe because I'm a mental health clinician, but it's more important than even learning the art of teaching. And the reason why I say that is because we are human and people first.
Nationwide, many school districts are turning to teachers to play a bigger role when identifying issues of mental health. National programs like Mental Health First Aid train teachers to understand what to do if a student's having a panic attack or where they should turn if one talks about harming themselves.
When you ask professionals, education professionals, why they're leaving the field, they often say because they don't have the supports they need for students with emotional behavioral issues.
You won't find many people who understand the state of mental health in our schools better than Sharon Hoover, the director of the National Center for School Mental Health. She told me teachers can play a key role at a time when many school districts are struggling to find guidance counselors and therapists.
I'm not suggesting that we hand over mental health and behavioral health services to our educators or to the other adults who are not specialists entirely.
That leads to one of the final questions I had for Amanda. Do you ever feel like that it's too much or it's overwhelming and it is so much more than just teaching art?
No. I love being a teacher. I wouldn't give that up for the world. I really wouldn't. But I love making sure that I help my kids. They might come back in 20 years and be like, do you know that you saved me? Do you know that you helped shape me? Did you know that you pushed me? Did you know? You don't know.
Over the last couple of years especially, schools have become a place for great debate over pandemic policies and politics, and that can lead to a lot of stress for educators and school leaders. But some educators say that stress is a great opportunity for positive change.
So the next part of class, we're going to be, once again, moving around, visiting the different tables.
With students back in these seats comes the excitement of a new school year.
Most of our freshmen over here on this end, and our 11th and 12th graders are in Commons 2.
But for those leading schools, that excitement comes with responsibility.
The pressure's there every day. You feel it.
It's not a new feeling for Principal Eric Rowe.
This is year 28 for me in education.
But he says this year, that pressure is changing. The stakes are higher than ever to keep students safe and healthy, and to balance the politics of the outside world in the classroom.
How do we have to shift and maybe think of a new normal and how we do school differently and really prioritize sort of relationships and human connection over sort of the transactional pieces around test scores and the data.
He says the first step in making a better new normal is to face the tough conversations around race, gender, and equity head on.
Teaching is a political act. It can't be divorced from the current reality and the current state of things. Because part of it is, how are you helping prepare students to navigate a different future?
And he's not alone in thinking that. The Rand Corporation surveyed principals and teachers across the country this year and found 54% believed there should not be legal limits on classroom conversations about racism and other contentious topics, while about 20% of teachers and principals believed there should be.
My job is not to help folk feel comfortable, because if you're comfortable, we don't get change. We'll still get the same outcomes that we've always gotten.
But deeply engaging with students often comes with a price.
I think one thing that just has not really been talked about or studied really is the sort of stress and trauma, and particularly secondary trauma, that happens for educators.
For some, that trauma comes from the community. 61% of principals say they were harassed because of their school's policies on COVID-19 or for teaching about race, racism, or bias last school year. For Eric, he carries trauma from watching his students of color struggle to find their place in the world.
Michael Brown was a student of mine as an administrator. I was there when they shut schools down because of the protests and the march, right? And the tanks and the tear gas and all of that. This is not just what happens in the schoolhouse. And the stakes are really that high, literally, life and death. And I think it's just a reminder to folk about what it is we really need to be doing as educators.
And Eric says that work is using the division and the pressure principals feel as a lesson to help their students grow as people, hoping it will prepare students for the bigger tests life will throw them outside the classroom.
This is a human endeavor here. Yeah, that's the work. That's what we do here. That's what I've been doing for the last 28 years.
For The Race, I'm Alexa Liacco.
Schools across the country are facing a teacher shortage so severe, the Department of Education is warning it could soon be considered a crisis. We look at what's behind the teacher exodus that started years before the pandemic. You're watching The Race.